Welcome to another episode of Sweet 915. I'm your host, Curtis, and we have my co-host. It's me, Fedora,
Hi.
and, and we have a panelist today. We have Coach Eric Griffin and Ms. Tina Lewis, who is a parent of a student athlete that attends Independent Indiana Independence University. Right? Am I straight? Am I correct, Tina?
No, Dorian's at Coffeeville
Coffeeville.
in Kansas.
Oh, Coffeeville.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But I
Yeah.
also have my older one at Westfield State in Massachusetts playing basketball.
See?
Yeah.
So, hey, thank you all for coming and tuning in and being on the show today because
No
today's
problem.
topic is youth sports are back. Is it safe? What are your thoughts? So, Miss
Would you like
Fedora is
to?
really passionate about this, so I thought we this is something that we need to talk about because the children are our future, and we need to think about their safety as well. So, I'm gonna start off with the parent, if I can. Tina,
Okay.
how do you feel about sports going on during COVID-19 right now?
In the beginning, of course, because it was so difficult. Nobody knew exactly what was going on, so you got to take every precaution and kind of hold back a little bit. But now that we have I guess, a better understanding on how this virus travels and how it can be prevented, I honestly think our kids are safer out there in college because I know my son, since he's been out there over a month, they've been tested 3 times
Okay.
and not one positive case because they're keeping them on campus. They're only around each other, the team. They have workouts kind of like in pots. So a certain amount of kids go at this time, certain amount of kids go at this time. And honestly, he's actually been more stable there than he was at home because here he wanted to be with his friends and we're not, you're not certain on what other families are doing.
Mhm.
So I think it's more of a secure situation that he's in, especially being tested 3 times in a month.
Mhm.
I actually feel safe for him to be out there playing.
Uh, I'm going to ask Eric about not as a coach but as a parent. Uh, how do you feel about sports going on during COVID-19?
Well, to me, I'm glad sports are back. Me being optimistic, as a parent, yes, I have to agree with Tina. First, it was kind of like leeway, not knowing, not
Mhm.
knowing what's going on or how to adjust to it. But now we're adjusting to it, so it's kind of a rough road,
Yeah.
because you
But
got
at this
some
point,
parents. Huh? Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, you got some, some kids out, and some parents are holding back due to the all the pandemic that's just going on. So it's kind of struggle.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Miss Fedora, you want to ask any questions in reference to this? You have two parents and a parent and a coach.
Yes. Like, what type of precautionary measures, since you're a coach, do you have set in place? And you are a coach of high school, am I correct?
Little league under Typha.
Okay,
Oh,
so it's the smaller, like middle school age.
correct. Seven. We have 7U, 9U, 11U, and 13U, and as well as cheerleaders.
Okay. So what type of precautionary measures for COVID are put in place? Because I know football is a contact sport and it's hard for you to social distance. So what type of measures are being put in place while they're actually on the field and, running these plays and on the sidelines? What's going on?
Well, as far as the coaches, our athletic director has put in place, along with the Typha rules, that The coaches will be wearing face masks, and the coaches must have their temperature taken prior to at practice and at games. And far as parents, the parents walking in, everybody has to have a face mask. And with the children necessarily doesn't have to have a face mask on while playing. But after the game, they will be able to put their face mask back on and carry on so forth. But during no, go ahead.
I was
So
just gonna say, what about the sidelines? How are
yeah,
you?
that was
Are
gonna.
they social distancing on the sidelines since they
Right.
don't have masks on?
Oh, they have masks. So it's a pretty much we have a line blocked off. So the parents cannot go. The parents are not allowed on the field. They have a line where the parents cannot cross. So that protects the child from from any self, and then plus people they wear masks. Everybody has to have a mask on. So and we have team moms with extra masks. Like if a parent comes to the game and doesn't have a mask, they will automatically be issued a mask. Matter of fact, they will be issued a mask prior to coming through the gate at the games.
Okay, that's good. Now, as a mom, I know you said your son is, you feel that he's safer away at college because he wanted to be around people that he wasn't aware, if you know, or you weren't aware had been
Hmm.
tested, or who they had been around. So what has he told you as far as, other than being tested, you know, every however so many days that they are tested, what precautions has the university put in place for them?
So I know that the classes, they're social distancing. They have to wear their masks everywhere on campus. The only time they're allowed to take their masks off is if they're in the cafeteria eating. The coaches have kind of suggested like for them to get their food and take it back to their dorms if they can, just to kind of limit the time that they're out there. Right now, the only ones that are literally on that campus are the athletes, the sports, the kids that are local. They're doing most of their classes online. So kids who are there, scholarship from out of state, they're I think they're probably at maybe a little over 50% capacity because it's just the athletes on campus. And the same with my son in Massachusetts. All of the just regular students are all strictly online. The athletes are there taking lab classes if they have to, but still doing online classes. So everything is social distance. Maintaining that they don't leave out of state on the weekends. There was a couple kids that actually got kicked off the team. They found out second weekend there, they took off.
Oh
Coach
wow.
said, nope, you're putting us at risk. So they lost their scholarships, unfortunately,
Wow.
Oh
and sent them
wow.
home because they're pretty serious. It's like, these kids, they're there, they have a goal in life, trying to, do better through athletics. And there are kids who don't take it so serious. They think these are just handed out like candy and it takes a lot to get there. So, you have to weigh the risks. There's risks in everything. Yes, this virus is definitely an issue. Um, but now I feel, these kids got to get back to life, but be responsible to take the precautions to protect themselves and their teammates and everyone else. I mean, it's rough. As a parent, of course, we worry. um, if it's not the virus, we worry about injury, we worry about everything. But I feel pretty secure on where they're at right now. Like I said, probably better so than when he was here at home.
Okay. Okay. Um. So, as a parent, Tina, what information have they provided you all for student athletes? Like, if you can attend games, this is what you need to do, or like you just described, what are you described the everyday life. But say
Mhm.
you will go to attend a game, or you guys allowed to attend games during COVID, and what precautionary measures are they telling you all that you have to meet before you can attend the game?
Yeah, well, luckily, both my son's seasons both have got pushed back to spring.
Okay.
So all the national junior colleges have decided to do spring football. They're doing practices and scrimmages, but they are giving their. We're still waiting to see if we're allowed to attend that one fall game that they're going to do. It's still kind of up in the air. They said it's probably just going to be a limit of how many family members, but no outside fans.
Okay.
So we're still kind of waiting to see. They're supposed to have one fall game in November.
Okay.
So I'm hoping we can attend it, but if not, they're going to live stream it. So
Same question for you, Coach Griffin. With the national president, what are they telling you to inform your parents about? Because that's outside. So I know outside there's a lot of people out there. How do you guys control that with parents? You said there's a line. So what about the social distancing? Are you guys mandated to have the distance uh, between the parents outside there? Because parents they get hyped up at these small games because I've seen it on TV. You in a tight league, yeah. I seen
yeah.
it. They think it's real. They think the kids get paid, So
Yeah.
that's very serious.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
You are right. It is extreme, but at the game, even at practice and at the games, they are separated 6 feet apart, 6 feet apart from each other. If that answers your question, yeah,
Okay.
they are 6 feet.
Okay. Okay. So somebody is out there controlling the distance and because
Correct.
yeah, like you said, I seen Tina at some games too, and she's not. She's a parent
You
and
know
a
what?
fan.
I just wouldn't even try to go to these games these days.
Yeah.
I just watch from the car.
Somebody that loves sports and have kids
Yeah.
that's playing sports, it's a lot. So
It really is. I mean, just today. I mean, we had a game today. Our 13U had a game today, and it was actually pretty controlled. Pretty controlled. Everybody was practicing social distancing, and I mean, the distance was there, and I mean, it wasn't no issues. The league was not, called for any issues or people not wearing masks and whatnot. So it's pretty controlled,
okay.
somewhat.
It's somewhat.
Yeah.
What do you mean by somewhat, sir? Tell
Well, I'm just
the
saying,
people,
like,
live,
you
right?
got,
Facebook Live,
like,
Facebook Live.
you got that parent. You got that parent that that high strong parent. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's the somewhat.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you because I'm going to ask you, how does your wife feel as your son being a young man playing? How does your wife feel about that? Does she get on you as you're saying I'm the coach, I got to do, but this is my son. So what does your wife tell you when it's time when you say, well, we about to start playing football? What did she say about that? Did y'all talk about that first, or you just say, well, he good because I'm out there?
We live.
Don't do this to me now.
Tell the truth. Keep it real.
Okay, let me be honest. I'm being honest.
Okay.
For me, it's like okay, he playing football. He playing football. I mean, for us, I mean, as I hate to be all religious and whatnot, but hey, that's just me. Our bishop teaches us to there's nothing to fear.
Mm-hmm.
He teaches us. I mean, and that's what we stand on. Because I mean, God hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but of power. So that's what we stand on. And regardless, I mean, as we are in church, I mean, we go to church with our mask on, but hey, when we get inside, we take it off. Because God, I mean, to me, as a parent, I love sports. I love it. And I know my son loves sports.
Yeah.
And I'm not for the like, okay, we know this pandemic is out here. We know COVID is out here. And we're not gonna let it, I'm not gonna let it hinder my child from developing himself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're gonna take the necessary precautions.
Right.
But him being an athlete, okay, we're not gonna hold him back just because we don't live in fear. For my family, we don't live in fear.
Right.
All right. But other than that, I mean, that's just how it is as a parent. But and to answer your question,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
to answer your question, yes, we talked about it, but
Okay.
she know how I am about sports,
Uh,
and she know, and I'm not going to have my son just inside. No,
Yeah.
not gonna
mm.
happen.
So go back to the part where you said athlete, sir, because my co-host, we talked about this last week. So go back to the part you said athlete, and you feel that as your son being an athlete, you didn't want to hold him back from his dreams and goals.
Correct.
I have a question though. How old is your son and what is he playing? Is he in high school? Is he in
He's
middle
10 years.
school?
He's 10 years old. He's in fifth grade.
Oh, okay. Y'all told me to be nice. I'm gonna be
He's
I'm gonna
ten years old. He's
I'm
No,
gonna
ten.
be
but
He's
quiet.
I get you, coach. I get you. I had three boys, and
man.
yeah,
Ooh-wee.
it was like started them. My youngest one at 5 years
Mm-hmm.
old in pads. So
Yep.
you push them to something, and if they gravitate to it and they like it, you
And
just
they,
keep going. But
yeah,
you
you
see the
can't take their love
strides.
away. You can't
Yeah,
take their love away.
yeah. I couldn't get my kids off the basketball court or the football field.
So
So
my question to you, coach, you are a coach and you're a football coach. So
Yes, ma'am.
therefore he would not miss a beat, I don't think, if that's his passion. And we are in a pandemic. So you are a coach. You sure you have a backyard or at a park. So you could keep those skills up with him without putting him in jeopardy. Am I correct or am I incorrect?
You're correct, but I'm just saying, like competition. You don't have competition in the backyard.
I mean, that's true.
I'm just
But it's
saying.
all in your mind. You could be his competition.
right.
I've been that, done
He
that.
got he got to go through
Still doing
daddy.
it. Still doing it. Still doing
Wow.
it.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I know you were trying to be politically correct, but I'm sure that your wife had some things to probably say, and I am too. Do not live in fear, but the reality is we're in a pandemic, and I need to protect both of my children are grown, and they both were in sports. My son loves football.
Mhm.
He's a football coach right now in Nebraska, and my daughter ran track for until she graduated high school. So, and they were, really good athletes. But if I were a parent during this time, they would be mad at mama. They would be, because they would not be on the track field. And my son, he did, sports as far as with, shot put, discus, and javelin when it was open back in California. But they would be mad at me right now because I'm like, I'm the parent and it's gonna have to take a back burner. Because my thing is, you're not getting paid, you're not in college, you're not on a scholarship, and you're not getting a check from a big corporation. So it's my job to protect you. So
Well, Mr.
that is where I stand on it. But I am opening my eyes and I see what you guys are saying. Like Tina was
Mhm.
saying that, it's more structured in college, and those who are on scholarships, I understand that they have
Mhm.
to, do what they have to do. But now my misunderstanding, or where I do not understand, is when it's the smaller kids, like in middle school, this UIL and all this stuff. I would be one of those parents that would be like, you're not getting paid, nobody is scouting for you right now. And now if you're a senior in high school, we might have to go to the table and go to the altar and do some other things. But yeah, that's where I stand on it. I'm like, I'm the parent and I'm not putting your little child life in jeopardy, because I know how kids are, and kids are getting it. Kids have passed from it. This thing is real and it has no respect to person who gets it, when they get it, how bad it's going to be. And now we know that there are residual effects for those who do have it.
Mhm.
It's if they get it too bad, you get inflammation within your body, and it could go to your brain. And then now you have this kind of, they call it COVID fog, wherein they're experiencing symptoms of Alzheimer's. So it's presenting itself in that way. So it's serious. And me as a parent, I would be like, nah, bro, you're gonna have to sit it out. Nah, sis. We
Well,
gotta sit it out.
don't get me wrong. We have, like, as our organization was huge, but we do have some parents that didn't come back, that didn't bring their kids back. They was on the same page as you. But the others, like as I say, I mean, like we don't live in fear. So I mean,
Mm-mm.
I protect myself. I protect my son after his practice. He puts his mask on. I have my mask on the whole duration of practice. The whole duration of practice, as long as well as all the other coaches and the team moms and the athletic director. So we're taking the necessary precautions to protect our children. Now don't get me wrong. Now, hey, it's out there. We know it's out there. We know that the COVID-19 is out there. We know it, but we're not going to hinder our children, from just being couch potatoes, getting big, and not doing nothing other than school.
I mean, well, there's other stuff that you can do with kids to keep them active. But I understand what you're saying. I mean, because every kid is not, a sports kid. So
Yeah.
parents have to find other things to entertain their children with, and keep them well-rounded individuals. Because everybody's not for sports, playing
Hmm.
instruments, or doing or different. But I understand what you're saying. I see where you're coming from, and I also see the other side too. But I mean, that's just where I stand on it. I know if my kids were in middle school and elementary, and high school, only if they were like a senior, then we could go to the table with it. But other than that, it would still be a no.
Okay,
I
so
mean, a
so
senior and they're being scouted,
Yeah.
then yeah. But other than that, no, no. Yes,
can you see
Curtis,
my
go
hand?
ahead.
Can you see my hand, Fedora?
I can.
Can you see
I'm
my hand?
not going up and down. No, I'm not. I
Hey,
said if
hey.
my children were school age, we would go to the table. That means I would hear what they have to say. Before then, I'm not even trying to listen to you.
But what I want to say is, what I want to say this in this day and time, Fedora, kids are being recruited out of middle school,
Yeah.
and they're
Yes, they
being
are.
offered. Yes,
Yes.
Yes,
kids are,
they
because
are.
kids are
Really?
just that talented now. They're
Hmm.
being recruited out of middle school. So you're saying, if the scout comes to you and say right now, Miss Fedora, I'm gonna give your son, I think he's a talented track star. I'm offering him a 4-year scholarship to Duke University right now, full ride, everything. I just need you to say yes, you'll commit, and we go from there. You're gonna say, well, COVID's out, and
I mean, okay, for that, yeah, but he's not gonna be on no around
Oh.
other people. He can still practice. He can still practice, but he's not gonna practice around other people. I have to hire him a private coach. I mean, because you still have football players that play for the league that have their own trainers who meet with their own trainers who have also been tested, things of that nature. But you're not gonna be around a whole bunch of kids and breathing and coughing and whatever else. No, sir, no. So you'll get him a private coach, and y'all can go out there on the track and do what you need to do. Yes, I
So
would
what if
agree to
he's on
that,
the
but not
what if he's
around
on
other
what if,
kids.
but like
now what if
like
he's on
Coach
the relay
Griffin's
team?
saying,
Hmm?
What if he's on the relay team? So you can't practice by himself for a
Well,
relay.
he better he better know his part and
boy,
hand
it's
it
gonna be
off
a hard sell
like
for
boom, boom,
Fedora.
time. Okay, somebody then put it in your hand. You better take off because all it is, track is an individual sport. A relay, you got your other teammates, but it's still individual because you're trying to beat your time. So I don't, nope.
But
My
there's
daughter
no
was in track. I was a
competition in
track
that,
mom.
Fedora. There's no
Exactly.
competition.
You
Where's the
know what?
competition?
It's competition in your mind. You could compete with yourself. COVID. Y'all better get y'all lives. No. No.
In the,
Sorry.
man, we need to talk to your
No
son and
changing
just
me. I
no.
understand where y'all coming from. For Tina, I understand because he is in college and they're
Right.
doing the testing. I understand these pro football players because they're getting that check. But the middle school and the elementary and whatever else in high school, y'all not getting paid. So bye.
Okay, so let's back up. Tina, please explain to Miss Fedora about Dorian when he was still playing during COVID when they was still COVID was just coming around
Hmm.
and fruition, and but he still had to be looked at from the count from the college scouts. He just didn't stop playing. He still had
Right.
to do workouts and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
it,
So unfortunately, like with that being said, just like the whole private and who you're training with. So during the COVID, because we're in New Mexico now, our governor shut everything down. I mean, there was nothing open. I'm
okay.
talking the only place you go to is Walmart, essential business. Everything was closed. So there was nowhere to train. They had blockaded every football field. So he actually was going to El Paso and he was actually training with Aaron Jones.
Okay.
So there was maybe like 5 kids at a gym, but it was only for them. It wasn't open to the public. They were able to be there. So they were very cautious on how, because he had to continue to train because he had to report to school.
Mm-hmm.
So where he's at his JUCO, that's a big SEC, Big Ten, you know, recruiting ground.
Recruiting
So of
ground. Yeah.
course he had to stay training. There was just not any way he could just train. He did as much as he could in our garage in our
Mm,
gym that we have, but
yeah.
for that type of training, you have to have high level. So he traveled down the weekends. Of course, stayed in a hotel with his older brother, wasn't around a lot of people, just went straight to training, came back. They did the responsible thing because at first I was like, oh, I don't know if you should be traveling, but as long as they stuck to what they were supposed to do and not, veered off and did other nonsense, because I would
Mm,
have nipped that quick.
sure.
Um, I have to touch on too these kids who are athletes and that's all they know, and it's taken away, depression sets in. I mean, my son, he suffered from depression his sophomore year there
Mm,
at Andrus. A lot of people didn't know that. We made that move out here for better quality for him, but when COVID hit and school got shut down, um, not being able to train, uh, worried about what's my future. Am I going to get to go to college? That depression started setting in again because a lot of kids, this is their life.
mm,
That's all they do is sports. And the passion is there. And if it's taken away and they're not able to train and compete, it messes with their mental and emotional. So I had to keep an eye on that. So that's why I was all for Aaron Jones said, come down here and train with me. I'm stuck here too. So, you have to kind of give and take
mm.
where that risk is, because you don't want, you know, the depression to sit in and worry about that all over again.
Right.
And I have a 5-year-old daughter who just started back to kinder for classes here.
Okay.
It's only elementary kids. The middle schools and high schools are shut down. Limited amount of kids in class. But I mean, I worry about her. I didn't send her back to basketball
Okay.
because of that age group.
Yeah.
Parents, you don't know what they're doing, what they're not doing. So yeah,
Yeah.
she was a bigger risk. So I decided that no, she would not be doing gymnastics. She would not be doing basketball. So, I'm kind of both ways. I understand, Fedora, what you're saying. Like the younger kids, sometimes you're like, you don't know how much precaution those parents are really taking.
Yeah.
And so you gotta, like I said, you gotta make a responsible decision depending on the situation,
Yeah.
Okay.
depending on that situation.
Yeah.
So,
And I totally get you with that.
mhm.
With the depression and things of that nature. So yes, I feel for you on that, and I am aware and do understand that part of it. Like I said, the high school, if that's them and they're at that level, and
Mhm.
like scouts and stuff, like I said, and you did it the right way. It was private, like I was saying. It
Yeah.
was only a small amount, and they took the precautions. I'm all for that. But my thing is with these large crowds, because I passed by, and I will not name the high school, last week, and they were out on the field and they were running, and nobody on the sides was social distancing. I didn't see anybody with masks, even though it could have been because I was driving by.
Mhm.
So I might not have seen some masks, but I didn't see anybody with masks. So I'm like, what? Like, what? Huh? Ain't nobody getting a
Yeah.
check? Like, what's going on? Like, So yes,
You with that
I mean for real, like
they
bottom
get
line,
paid.
like
The coach is getting paid.
I'm not talking about no coach. I'm talking about these children. Cause you grown. If you don't want to wear a mask and you drop,
Lord,
off the base, that's on you. But I'm
Yeah.
talking about these children, like, cause adults have to step in. So I understand what what Tina is saying, and I feel her on that. But all this other stuff, no, thank you.
Yeah, and and I know with the youth leagues here, they were putting out a hybrid model in place that if coaches were going to bring back their players, so there needed to be a like a whole guideline, like what was
Yeah.
going to happen. Are they going to be tested? How many kids per coach? The ratio. How many? What are they going to do with practices? So I know as long as the organization is doing their part and being responsible, because at the end of the day, they're responsible for these kids
Yes.
and their health. I mean, of course, it starts from home, but if the parents take their kids to a coach, they have to be equally as responsible while they have them. So,
Exactly.
it's all about us adults saying, look, this could be good or this could be bad, and everybody has to be on the same page. But but you do, like, I understand you, coach. You got those parents who just don't care, and they're just like, here, go babysit my kid for a couple hours. you know I don't really like sports, but they like it. There, go. You keep them for a couple hours, and who knows what they're being irresponsible at home, so you don't know what they're sending you. So unfortunately, it's a risky situation for everyone. There's pros and cons to all of it, but we, like I said, that being responsible is the only way we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
So Coach Griffin, question. So prior to the season starting, were you all required to receive some type of letter or medical statement saying that each one of these kids have been tested for COVID prior to starting practice in games?
Whew. Good question. Good question. So
Oh
pretty
man, you got to put some
pretty
comments
much
on
pretty
Facebook
much
with this one,
no
boy.
pretty much far as the kids being tested, uh honest to God truth, I had my son tested. I had him tested. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else. I had
Okay.
him tested prior to starting. Now with the league, them having testing in place for the children, honestly speaking, I haven't seen it or heard of it.
Okay.
But far as the coaches though, since we're more, like I say, immune to it,
Mm,
we have to take the necessary precautions
okay.
before getting to the children.
Okay.
So that's why I say before every practice, before every game, we're always getting our temperature checked, and we have to. It's imperative that we have our mask on.
So I'm not
So
siding with you. So Fedora don't get on me. I'm not siding with you. All I'm asking is, do you think that it would should, because you're the coach. Do you think that if
Hmm.
that was a requirement, you would probably get more of your players back if they said the league president said, you know what, our numbers are down, but let me put this in place because it's free testing in El Paso. It's free
It
testing.
is.
So
It
if
Yeah.
you say the coaches need to have some kind of statement from every parent saying that they had their child tested prior to playing. Do you think that would help bring the numbers back up and I mean help
I
you
think
out?
that would for me. I think that would be great. Honestly, that would be
Because it's
great
not
for all the
costing
kids to
nobody
get
anything.
tested.
It's free testing.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yep. I'm to honest to God truth. I really do think they should look into that,
Mm.
getting the kids tested. Even though
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be a pain, I know it's gonna be a pain because I know no kid wants something shoved up in their nose.
Yeah, but
but
the benefit of it all is worth it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
But don't they have to have a physical before they play as well,
Yes.
right?
Physical.
Okay.
Yes.
So they can just add that. I mean, this is our new normal.
Yeah.
So they can just add that to whatever those bylaws or whatever that is,
Mm.
that allowed them to
Mhm.
be able to have that physical now, okay, i.e. you need to have a COVID test to say, and then do they take the temperatures of the kids, of the players, before they get on the field of practice? Or is it
On the
only the
field,
coaches?
we actually have a medic staff on our in our organization. So she takes
Yeah,
the
but do they
temperature.
take the temperatures of the kids?
No,
Just the coaches?
just the coaches.
Okay. Cause yeah, just like Tina was saying, you're expecting the parents to be responsible. And so that's my thing. I'm not putting my child's life in somebody else's
Hmm.
hands to say that they haven't been over to Mexico or they haven't been out of town and around other people who could possibly have it, and then just haven't realized that they've had it, because we have so many asymptomatic people who don't even know that they have it and could spread it to others. So it's not like they are aware of it and then boom, 3 days later after practice, then they get symptoms, and then oh, they may or may not let somebody know. You just know that they're not in practice, and then boom, they come back, and then now you have all these random kids getting sick, and they can or don't have to tell you. So that's what I'm saying. It's serious, and once it happens, it happens. Then you got to shut everything down, and that's
Hmm.
the way I feel about the schools. But
Hmm.
most of them are coming back on a hybrid model, wherein there's not, there's social distancing in the classroom. They're only 10 kids in the classroom at a time. They're not in contact with any other of the students. So it's like you're in this little I guess like pod, or family. You're in this
Hmm.
little house. So if you go outside of that house and get infected, or this house is infected, and you've been in contact with another house, then it's going to do the domino effect, and then everybody's going to get sick, and then you have to shut down. So it's really important that everybody take it serious, and when these questions are asked to you, that that you haven't been around somebody else, like a previous broadcast we did, with finding your group, or your niche, or your little circle, your bubble, and all those people in that bubble you interact with normally on a daily, and all of you guys have been tested, so that nobody has it, and if somebody does, then everybody else gets tested,
Hmm.
and then those groups of people, so you kind of interact with that one group to keep yourself safe, because life has to go on, right? This is our new
Right.
normal. We have to live. We do not live in fear. We're continue, but we're using those precautions, and that can be another precaution, but it's based on the honesty of the people, and everybody's not always so honest.
Right. There are some people who are just kind of careless. It's not going to happen to
Yeah,
me, but
yeah,
unfortunately, it can with this. Yeah, I agree, Fedor. Like temperature checks, I think your player should, because I know my daughter going to kinder. Every student gets temperature check before they walk in. I know my son said they get temperature checks before they start lifting weights.
mhm,
They're just precautious, and it's an everyday thing. They work
yeah,
out Monday through Thursday, scrimmage on Saturday, so it's a
mhm,
constant temperature check. Constantly getting tested. So like it is. It's our new normal. It has to be done. Those who don't want to comply, well, then they shouldn't be there,
yep.
because you're putting everybody else at risk.
There you have it, Coach.
So tell your squad to get temperature checked.
Just like just like being in the military, when they come on your field, you gotta test them. You gotta so the parents say, "Oh, they do the testing," because I think like Fedora said, if one person catches it out there, man, your whole operation about to shut
Yeah,
down
and
Well,
you
because they
don't
don't
want
know
it to
who
I
shut
brought
mean,
it.
down again. Yeah.
trust me. I mean, I hear everybody. And there's some things I can bring up. I will bring up to my athletic director. Since we getting we getting our temperature check. Let's temperature check the kids too. Also,
Hmm.
with that being said, also we can bring up the typhoid. Okay, Fedora, thank you. for educating me. So, but I would I would tell Typha, hey, look, when we do the doggone what's the name, we can add the COVID test. Also, it needs to be part of it. Needs to be a requirement. Which is, hey, I don't disagree with that. I don't
Mhm.
at all.
And the
I
temperature
do
checks are
believe.
so quick. They're so quick. It's just like
Yeah,
line up the kids,
yeah,
everybody like, get a little zap and move on. So
yeah. I mean, I totally agree with y'all. I do.
Mm.
yeah. But yeah, we definitely don't want any youth sports or anything
Yeah,
shut down again. It took us this long to get it back going. So any little
yeah.
precaution that we could take to keep everything going, it's definitely worth it in the end.
True. Absolutely
Okay.
true.
Uh, so they said that the while we're talking about this, and I'm talking about athletes, uh, they said that the first batch of the medications or cure should be coming soon. Most, I think, what's this, October,
Talking about
November.
vaccination.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
vaccination starting in November, early
Mhm.
January, if possible. So, what are your thoughts about that as coaches and parents, and allowing your kids to get those right now? Are you for it or you're against it?
For me, I'm totally against it. I do not. I I'm kind of skeptical about getting my son tested for getting the flu shot
Mm,
because I don't know what they could be giving him
mm,
because he could be a test dummy or something. You know what I'm saying? Which is like I for me personally, flu
Yeah,
shot. I don't know.
I'm on the fence with that too until it is widely tested and
Yes.
reliable.
mm,
I'm
Yep.
not I'm not giving my kids that test. I mean, they're pretty healthy. We take our precautions. I mean, just like anything, they could get the flu. And I honestly think I think it was November time. I honestly think my youngest son did get COVID. Like way before they were even but before it even was being tested. And
yeah.
him and a few other kids, I mean, they were really sick. He was tested for the flu, he was tested for strep, he was tested for mono. Everything was negative. He was sick for like 2 days, but
Okay.
then was shortly after that it was like this COVID thing, and I was like, he had all the symptoms of that, but none of the rest of us got sick.
Hmm.
It was
Wow.
just him. Like I
Hmm.
said, 2 days he had a fever, sore throat, then he was fine.
Mm,
But
Hmm.
like, I literally think that it was already out here. I think people were getting it. It
It
wasn't
was.
nobody was aware of it really yet.
Nope.
So, you know,
I think the medical people were aware, or
yeah,
some
I think the
areas,
public
because
wasn't aware.
yeah, but
Yeah.
we as public were not aware, and they were keeping it on the wraps.
Hmm.
And just like you were saying, he had all of the signs of like the flu, but like
Right.
on steroids.
Yeah.
And I had gotten sick the same way, and I was like, talking, how in hindsight you start talking about it and you're like,
Like,
wait
I
a
think I
minute.
had that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was really
Hmm.
sick, and I have a high tolerance. So, but when
Hmm.
I get sick, I'm like, I'm out, like I'm done, and I could barely move. Like I
Yeah.
was so ill that I had to send my daughter to the pharmacy to get my medicine because I couldn't stand in line to wait on it. That's
Yeah.
how bad I was. So
yeah.
I'm thinking, like you were thinking about your son, like maybe he had it back then, and it lasted for like 3, 4 days, and then
Hmm.
boom, I was better, and I was, back to work, and I took antibiotics and other medications. But when the doctor told me, "Oh, it's not the flu," and I'm thinking, "Wait a minute, how you know? How do you know it's not the flu? You haven't even tested me for the flu. Oh, it's not strep. How do you know?"
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they knew something, but they
Yeah.
weren't allowed, I guess, or weren't
Yeah. Well,
telling
the funny
the
thing is
public.
with that, they tested him for the flu, strep, and mono. We waited,
And
and when the doctor came back in, he was gowned up and masked up. So they
ah,
knew. They
they knew.
knew.
Man.
They knew. So
Yes.
he didn't get tested for COVID, but they knew that's probably what it was.
Yep.
So unfortunately, that was during football season. and there was a
Wow.
few kids who had the same symptoms. Nobody got like seriously ill from his team, but I remember there was maybe 5 of them that all kind of had the same thing going on, and then it was gone. And then of course here we come March, everything's getting shut down. So yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, this disease, like you said, it doesn't discriminate. um I think that people, athletes, because they are healthier, they work out more, I think it affects them differently. um and of course I'm no doctor, I can't say, but I've
Mm.
seen it where athletes have had maybe a headache, a sore throat, and then that was it. Unfortunately, they can pass it to other people who won't fare so well. But like I said, it's just, if you're sick, stay home. And if parents, if you know your kids are sick, don't
I
send them to
mean,
practice. I mean, it's just that simple.
please don't. Please don't.
Yeah. You got to just like, oh, he's not feeling well. Don't go to practice. Just don't.
So,
Agree totally.
question: what do you think, from a coach standpoint? What do you think the way ahead is for youth sports during the pandemic?
Well, the way ahead is we need to continue what we're doing now. What's in place right now, which
Mm.
is masking up, social distancing, taking the temperature. Just like Tina said, I mean, if you're sick, don't come to practice. Don't come, or let your coach know. Like, hey, coach, I'm not feeling well. Even I don't care if it's a stomach ache. Just don't come to practice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think that the way ahead is we just need to keep doing what we're doing.
Mm.
Keep doing what we're doing. As of right now, with the mask and the gloves and yada yada yada, the sanitizer, all this. We just need to stick with it because, like Tina said, it's the norm. It's norm. It's the normal now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So I'm tired of
Yeah.
buying masks, different kind of masks, and all this here. You know
It's
what
an
I'm saying?
accessory.
Now,
You got
it's like my ID card. I can't leave. I don't leave home without it. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yep.
You better
It's
not. And put
man.
extras in your car.
I do.
Yeah.
I have like in my back seat. I got like 10 of them. 10, in each seat, in each pocket. I got 10 masks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like you say, you never know. You never know. Like I say, you never know.
Right.
So
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Right.
as much as I
Yeah.
say, as much as I preach that, hey, I mean, like the mask. I mean, I get so sick and tired of this mask. My face be breaking out sometimes, but it's a precaution. I know, but I'm just like, it's hard talking to a kid with a mask on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
They're
I
like,
have to
what?
kind of like,
What?
I'm like, I kind of have to like sit back and just like bring it down and like, hey, look, this is what I need you to do, and then bring it right back up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now make sure, because I was watching one of the shows the other day, and they were saying they did the mass test, and they were saying about the mask that it's like you're not even wearing anything on your face, and that is the some kind of sleeve where the
Oh,
military wears, like, it covers the neck.
the net gator thing.
The
Mm-hmm.
gator
Yeah,
vest.
that thing, they said that is useless. Like,
I
don't
got my hand.
even wear that. It's not, you might as well not even have a mask on if you're wearing that, because those
I
particles
got
will get into they're smaller particles, but they go in and they come out the same. It's not protecting anything.
Right.
So if you have one of those masks, turn it into a scarf or whatever, or some kind of,
Can't do that. That's
a
a part of
cloth
your
to
CIS
wash
issue
your
there,
car,
Miss Fedora.
or windows or something, because it's useless. So you need the cloth mask, and make sure they're double layered. The mask for the medical, the medical mask, the surgical mask, and
Mm.
then of course the N95s. But those are hard, very very hard to get. Um, yeah, and just make sure those sides are covered. And if you wear a shield, continue to wear a mask don't just wear the shield. You need your mask too, because it shields from your front, but it doesn't shield from the side. The particles can still get in, without a mask being on. So
Oh,
yeah. And
okay.
if anybody knows where I can find the PPE, the whole bodysuit, like the one I'm looking for it. So add it in the comments. Let me know. I'm
Yeah,
waiting for Sam to
because she got to
start
go
selling
back to
those.
school, everybody, and teach. So she's scared. She want to go in there and look like she got the
I'm not
plague.
I'm not afraid. Hey, I'm safe when I go out. I I'm the one, because it's like it's a challenge for me not to get it. So when I have a challenge like that, hey, I'm gonna rise to the occasion. And
Right.
so y'all can judge me and talk about me if you want to, but girlfriend is safe, okay?
Yeah. Now, Tina, well, from what I've seen so far, um, I think the cost of having to clean all of those seats after every game, I think the way ahead for college sports, like you were saying, they're allowing so many family members to attend games, because I've seen it in NFL as well. Kansas
Hmm.
City game, I think, is the same thing, where they're only allowing players, family members to attend the games. So
Right.
with college, with that being said, with college, uh, the cost of having to clean those seats after every game, especially if it's indoor, those indoor stadiums, I
Hmm.
think that's
Mhm.
where the risk of concern comes in, because how do we know that they're cleaning the seats that you're about to sit in, and you might want to take your daughter out there, and now she got to sit in your lap because you wasn't sure if that seat was properly clean or not. So the
Right.
way ahead, I think they're going to have to come up with a system where maybe they have to spray the stadium before you can sit in it. And
Yeah.
basketball is totally, for you, and basketball is going to be tight, because those games are really compressed. So
Yeah. And we're still waiting to hear too from my son's schedule on how they're going to allow fans, because I was like, that's all the way in Massachusetts, so I need to know if I'm flying out there I'm able to actually go to your
yeah,
game or not.
yeah,
If not, yeah, that is not going to happen.
okay,
But um you know I know the colleges, and I know the NCAA, because they are uh taking that risk to continue to play, that they're, I'm sure that they're doing every precaution to keep
mm,
everything sanitized, because they have a lot to lose.
right,
They are responsible for these players, athletes, everybody that's there. They're responsible for the majority of the money that comes in to
hmm,
these big schools. That's what keeps these schools afloat. You got $1 million paid coaches at these big SEC schools.
yeah,
So I'm sure they're going to make sure that their jobs and lives and everything are not at risk. So of course, I can only imagine the precautions that they're willing to take. So,
mhm, okay.
but I
Well,
know at the high school level here in New Mexico, they canceled all football till spring.
well, here in El Paso, they started up.
Yeah,
Yep,
here,
it's
no, in New
back.
Mexico, our governor is like, nope, they can play in the spring. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it's
Your
pretty
thoughts on
rough.
that, Dora? That they're still going to get to play in spring?
No, I mean, I don't have any thoughts as long as precautions are in place and it's left up to the parent if they allow it or not.
Hmm.
I mean, everybody has a choice. We are
Yeah.
all given the choice.
All right.
And like
So
that's like with here too, when the elementaries opened back up, they still
yeah,
left the choice of kids to still do online learning for
yep,
those parents
Hmm.
that didn't want to send them. But I mean, there's of course a lot of parents like me. I'm a single parent.
Right.
It's either my child goes back to school or I quit work. I mean, it's just, it's just not an option there.
Right.
yeah,
So it's just like, as long as I knew that precautions were in place and I see these teachers coming out looking like astronauts, that's fine with me.
yep.
That is
And I'll be
totally
one.
fine with me. I'm good with
Yeah.
that. And my daughter is used to it. She's like, I get it. She knows she has to wear a mask, and at 5 years old, if she's responsible and knows that
Okay.
she has to put it on, come on,
Right.
adults.
Yes.
It's not hard. It is not hard at all. So
So we're coming to the end of another Sweet 915, Sweet 915 episode. I want to thank you, Coach Griffin, for coming in
No
and
problem, no problem, sir.
Tina, Miss Tina, to come on the show and talk about this because it's out there and it's starting to happen now. Like I said, El Paso schools are starting sports up, so it's a concern. Coach Griffin had been coach yesterday, and he had a game today, so what's going on. So, any words that you want to give to the viewers right now before we close out? We'll start with Coach Griffin.
Just before we go, uh, just maintain. Just do what feels right. Don't go out. If you know you need your mask on, put your mask on. If you know you're going into a building, put your mask on. Just do the right thing. If it feels uncomfortable, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Practice make perfect.
I got a question for you, Coach.
What's
Since
up,
I'm a
sir?
voter register, can I come out there to your site and register people to vote during your
You
football
can.
game?
Actually, you can. You can. As a matter of fact, you
Okay.
just gotta have the proper PPE. But I
I,
got you.
I got the proper PPE. I would let my people know that we're gonna be out there to get some votes, just some people registered to vote. Remember, you exercise your right to vote. Thanks,
That's
Coach
right.
Griffin. Miss Tina, anything for the people before we close out?
Yeah, like Coach said, maintain, be responsible, because if we don't, our kids won't have any options to do any of
That's
this.
right.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's up to us to set the standard.
Yeah, Miss Fedora.
Yes, like always, stay safe, keep loving your heart, and like the panelists said, do what's right and wear your mask. And it does not restrict your breathing. Just make
Mhm.
sure you brush your teeth so you won't knock yourself out. And wear your mask because you smelling your own breath. So
Yeah.
make sure you put peppermint up in there. If you got halitosis, so
Mhm.
handle your business.
Yeah.
But keep love in your heart and wear that mask.
Exactly.
Uh,
Man.
I would like to say before we close, remember that we are still eligible to vote. We are having voter registers throughout the local area here in El Paso. So if you haven't registered to vote, let's go ahead and vote. We're pushing early voting in October, so let's get out there and let's make that happen. Uh, I know they don't want me to talk about sports, but it's Sunday and I'm kind
I
of
know,
tired.
right?
I think Tina's team is them Niners, and I think they won today. So
Hey,
shout out
Cowboys won.
Niners, the Cowboys,
Ooh.
Cowboys. So
Go Cowboys won.
we're gonna cut her off early because I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear nothing about the Cowboys. They pulled it off, so
They did.
I was upset because I wanted to hear Stephen A. Smith tomorrow. So they don't
I
want to
know,
talk.
right?
I'm not gonna talk about sports. So I'm just say congratulations to those teams that won today, and for those teams that lost, hey, we still got 14 more games to go. So
And thank God you're playing.
thank God you're
Ain't that
playing.
the thing? Thank
So I
God
don't
we
have to
playing.
be depressed anymore because my Steelers did win today.
Uh,
uh, so thanks again for tuning in to Sweet 915. Remember, no topic is taboo. And as always, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and God bless you. Have a good evening.
thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye
guys.
bye.